New Thought Media Network. We are a global broadcast network of positive music, media, and entertainment, inspiring humanity's evolution along the journey of enlightenment and creating a world of love, peace, empowerment, and prosperity for all. New Thought Media Network. Positively inspiring. New Thought Media Network. We are a global broadcast network of positive music, media, and entertainment, inspiring humanity's evolution along the journey of enlightenment and creating a world of love, peace, empowerment, and prosperity for all. New Thought Media Network. Positively inspiring.
Live from a secure concrete bunker somewhere in Ohio, New Thought Media Network presents Pastor Michael Mangus with Friday's Fireside Chat, spiritual conversation for today. Here he is from the secret radio room, surrounded by thousands of watts, Pastor Michael Mangus.
Yes, it is time once again to broadcast to the whole world. From the top secret bunker located somewhere in Akron, Ohio. Yes, it is time once again for that fun-filled, thrill-packed, and yes, always exciting Friday evening fireside chat here on your New Thought Media Network. I am Reverend Michael Mangus, and again, broadcasting from the radio room. Deep below the earth in the super secret concrete bunker that we thought was breached this week. Because I heard over my speakers, Reverend Brzezinski, who was on another channel, and I didn't see him on the StreamYard, but he was on another StreamYard channel, but he could see the concrete bunker. We thought that we had a security breach, but we didn't. My security folks have combed through this whole area, and it is super secure. And that Robert Brzezinski guy is not getting back in, video or otherwise. Well, hi there. How are you this evening? Oh, we have a great show planned for you tonight here on the Friday evening fireside chat. Please feel free to interact with us this evening through the comments on Facebook and also on YouTube. And for all my shy people out there, I know you're out there watching, but you just don't want to participate in the chat. I understand completely. And that's why we have a address just for you, which is pastormichaelmangus@gmail.com. pastormichaelmangus@gmail.com. Yes, I read them during the week. I even respond to them. So give me a jingle. pastormichaelmangus@gmail.com. So the purpose of our Friday evening fireside chat is to talk about contemporary issues from a New Thought spiritual perspective. And as I keep saying week after week, I want us all to have a new thought about what is going on in the world. And I also want individuals to be empowered. What do I mean by that? Because we are of the divine nature, that we do have power, no matter what is going on in the world. So let's use that power to bring about a world that does work for everyone. And once again, this evening, all the way from the great state of Tennessee, formerly from the great state of West Virginia, we have on this evening Divine Science Minister, the Reverend Jeff Ratcliffe. Jeff always? Yes, always has something interesting to say about the news and how we can apply spiritual principles to the happenings in our world. Good evening, Reverend Jeff.
Good evening. I have 2 bones to pick with you tonight.
Okay. All right. Well, this is the complaint portion of the Fireside Chat. So, sir, go ahead.
All right. First of all, you need to stop cheating on me with Raymond Anderson. That's all I'm going to say about that.
Okay.
You've been cheating on me with him.
Okay. So, I did that to give you a week off.
Yes, you did. I know. And I apologize for that. But, stuff happens.
You just want to give me crap anyhow, right?
Yeah.
Okay.
And that concrete bunker stuff.
Yeah.
You might as well give it up because Robert has been in touch with me.
Yeah.
Reverend Robert has been in touch with me, and he has let me know that he has hired people and they found you.
No,
he didn't want you to know that, but
no, there's listen. I'm not going to even give a clue of where the concrete bunker is located. But I know that radio crews have been in the Akron area trying, the radio locators, radio trackers, they've been in the area trying to locate the concrete bunker, and they have not been able to find it.
Well, that would explain all those drones that you've been seeing flying over the house.
Now, Reverend Jeff, first of all, legal department has already been in the studio this evening.
Oh, yeah?
Yes, the legal department has already been here, and they have said, do what you want to do.
Oh, is that it?
Yes, Robert was here earlier.
Oh, okay.
But you said that you have a programming suggestion.
Yeah, you know what? This is good. This is good because dear Reverend Robert is with us tonight, at least temporarily. I think that it would be really good if they took an episode of ministers talking shit, and did it drunk, and make it drunk ministers talking shit. I think it would be hilarious.
I think that, yes, and probably all of our licensing boards.
Hey, on Divine Science, y'all can't touch me. I answer to a higher power.
Yes. Amen. Well, anyhow, I've written that down.
Okay.
And I will take that to programming.
Okay.
And see what they have to say.
And I am available for that particular show. Just saying.
Okay, hold on here. Okay, we have a comment already from the from the main office already. He says, "Not sure I could get up early enough to be drunk by 7 a.m."
Amateur. And he calls himself a radio professional. All right.
I could tell some stories.
Sure.
Oh, yes.
I've sat next to him at a couple of tables at a conference or two.
Yeah.
I know. He puts on a pretty good act.
Well, maybe what we should do is
I'm teasing. He's not like that.
Maybe what we should do as a fundraiser is that we should have our own brand of moonshine and call it Holy Water. New Thought Media Network's Holy Water. Yeah, and then have them get drunk during ministers talking excrement.
Oh, well. At any rate, I know what you're going to say, that we've got a ton of stuff to cover.
You know what? No. We've had a very slow news week here.
We have. Basically.
I just, I think we should all just get our beverage and just go by the fire and not give a care to the world. Just drink our beverage and have a nice Friday evening.
There you go. Irish coffee, is that?
Shh.
It has been kind of slow. I've actually, as I mentioned a couple of weeks ago, I have curtailed a lot of my news watching because it's really not good for my mental health. It's really not good for anybody's mental health to keep the TV on, 24/7, 365, watching stuff over and over again. We need to do better than that. But there's been some things happen that we can use these as pivot. We can use these as pivot points, because I had somebody ask me the other day. She said, "Well, how is it that you can watch the news and not be affected by it?" And I said, "Well, I can. I'm just like everybody else. But what I use the news for, it informs me. I watch just enough to be informed.
Yes.
But then I also look at it the way Michael Bernard Beckwith said one time. He said, use the news as a guidance point for you to take a look at, decide whether or not this is something you want in your life. If it's not something you want in your life, turn away from it, pivot, move over, and go into another direction." And so that's what I've been doing. I've been using what I see in the news to help me to focus on the things that I want in my life rather than the things I don't.
And that is one of your spiritual lessons this evening. And we have to talk about Puxatawny Phil.
Oh, Phil's my boy. He's so full of crap, but he's my boy.
Well, anyhow, this Sunday, during the Sunday morning service at summitcsl.org, which we will talk about a little bit later on, it'll be Groundhog Day. Mm-hmm. And this year we'll see another crowd of revelers, i.e. people drinking at 7 o'clock in the morning, making their way to Puxatawny. And some of you will say, well, where in the HE double toothpicks is Puxatawny? So locate Pittsburgh, and then it's in the northeast corner. It's about 90 miles away from Pittsburgh. All right, Puxatawny, Pennsylvania. As is tradition, the Puxatawny Groundhog Club will consult with the one and only Puxatawny Phil, the official Groundhog Day groundhog, to determine whether or not he saw his shadow. According to folklore, if the groundhog can see his shadow on Groundhog Day, it is a signal of 6 more weeks of winter. If he doesn't, then there is an early spring on the way. We would like to congratulate the Puxatawny Phil family. It got bigger recently. His wife, Phyllis, recently gave birth to 2 new Puxatawny groundhogs. Congratulations to the whole rodent family. Well, anyhow, how accurate are Phil's predictions? Well, this group of weather forecasters took a look at it and said that we've looked at the results, and judging by his track record over the years, the predictions are about as accurate as a coin toss. That said, the Puxatawny Groundhog Club insists that Phil is always right in his predictions. He is always right. Indeed, though, that they take the blame, as members of the clubs are the ones who have to translate Phil's prediction into English. At least that's the story. So,
and
the weather...
And you know what's going on with this whole thing?
What?
He's going to hold him up. He's going to hold Phil up, and he's going to listen to him, and Phil's going to whisper in his ear.
Yeah.
And what Phil's going to say is what he says every year. Get those damn TV cameras and their lights out of my face. Because that's where he sees his shadow. It's those lights, cast a shadow. because of the cameras, the lights for the TV station. So,
all right. Well,
That's
the
what's
weather
going on.
conditions in Puxatawny, Pennsylvania on Sunday will be mostly cloudy. So, Reverend Jeff, do you have a guess? Which way will it go? Will he see his shadow or not?
I'll tell you, I'm not good at this because every year I say to myself, he's not going to see it, and he does. And excuse me, and the times that I say he is going to see his shadow, they turn around and say, no, he's not. So I'm going to withhold it. All I know is by the time they do that here it will still be cloudy, but it is supposed to the clouds are supposed to break away and it's supposed to be sunny the rest of the day. I'm hoping he does not see his shadow before the broken clouds make their way from Tennessee on up the northeast to Punxsutawney, because if the weather moves quicker than I think it's going to, he's going to see it and it's going to mess us all up.
The weather conditions are supposed to be mostly cloudy. So I will make a prediction.
Okay.
I will go out on the limb and say that Phil will see his shadow and we will have 6 more weeks of winter.
Even though it's cloudy.
I believe that is my prediction. And since you're a chicken and not going to give us one.
Well, I kind of have to, as I think about this, the Old Farmer's Almanac and the Farmer's Almanac, 2 different books, by the way, with the same name almost, are both predicting early spring and very, very much warmer in our part of the country and maybe a little wetter, but much warmer. I think that they're probably right on the money with them saying that it's going to be an early spring. So I'll say no, he doesn't see his shadow.
Okay.
And he will give us an early spring.
Okay.
And I'm willing to put $5 on
it. All right. $5.
All right.
Okay.
We have a bet.
All right. All right. Now we got to get to the serious news here.
Yeah.
Oh, my. Well, recovery operations are still going on in the Potomac River. Crews have recovered 41 bodies from the collision site, and 28 of them have been identified, according to fire officials. The jet flying from Wichita, Kansas, was carrying 64 people, including members of the U.S. and also Russian skating teams, while 3 soldiers were aboard the helicopter. All are presumed dead. A groomed-to-be pilot, the daughter of an Indian immigrant, and also figure skating champions were among the victims. The National Transportation Safety Board has recovered the flight data and voice recorders, known as black boxes. Meanwhile, the videos obtained by CNN show previously unseen angles of the collision, the deadliest crash for U.S. carriers since 2001. So, what did President 47 do? Trump sparks outcry with implication that DEI policies are at fault in the DC mid-air collision. This whole thing has not been investigated at all. And then he goes out, does his usual, let's have a moment of silence, and then comes out with all of this speculation. Trump spent a considerable amount of time during his press conference discussing the FAA's DEI initiatives, particularly under President Joe Biden and Barack Obama. He cited the FAA's acknowledgement of the underemployment of employees with disabilities. He said a week before he took office, Trump said that the FAA website said that people with severe disabilities are the most unrepresentative segment of the workforce, that they want them to be air traffic controllers. And Trump says, I don't think so. And it goes on. And I just, again, the American Eagle flight from Wichita, Kansas, with 60 passengers and 4 crew members aboard, collided midair with an Army helicopter with 3 people near Ronald Reagan Washington National Airport on Wednesday evening. Trump confirmed that there were no survivors. On his second day in office, Trump issued an executive order to wipe out DEI programs throughout the federal government, including at the FAA. He says his order was very powerful in restoring the highest standards of air traffic controllers. And as he spoke with the media later on Thursday afternoon, Trump tempered his comments, saying DEI may have contributed to the crash. He says, I don't know. Incompetence may have played a role. Well, we'll let you know that, but we want the most competent people. We don't care what race they are. We want the most competent people, especially in those positions.
So what we've got basically is a cisgendered white male piloting this helicopter, but yet it's the black lesbian amputee pilot who's to blame for this. Explain this. This is one of the terms that we used when I was in the Army. Break it down to me Barney style. Break it down to me like I'm a 5-year-old watching Barney the dinosaur on TV. Make me understand that level of illogic. You can't.
Oh, this goes on. Billy Nolan was an acting FAA administrator under Biden, who just happened to be black, said that the role in his career have been centered on improving safety. In this case, that will mean investigating what happened. Mr. Nolan says, we owe that certainly to the families, and that we owe to the American people. Now, the FAA has had a shortage of air traffic controllers. Tennessee Garvey, who's a pilot for 22 years who is black, previously told NBC News that eliminating DEI may only exacerbate, that's right, I almost said something else, exacerbate demand. And Garvey says this, there has never been any proof that DEI causes any safety issues, because it doesn't. Barry McCaffrey, who's a retired Army general, said on Thursday on MSNBC that he was appalled by Trump blaming diversity requirements at the FAA and under his 2 Democratic predecessors. This is no time for partisan politics, he says. I agree with General McCaffrey. There is no evidence whatsoever that DEI policies had anything to do with this crash. None at all. And listen, let me just say also that being an air traffic controller, that is a very tough, stressful job. And that they do not, you have to go through certain psychological testing. I mean, a whole battery of meeting with individuals, meeting with psychiatrists and psychologists, even before you get considered to do the training. So this whole idea that there weren't competent people in the tower or in the cockpit is absolutely crazy. And for this president to go ahead and to shoot his mouth off about this is just unbelievable. Your comments, Reverend Jeffrey Cliff.
Well, first of all, let's keep in mind that there was only one air traffic controller in the tower. They had one guy who was supposed to monitor the military and the helicopters and that. The other one was supposed to be monitoring the commercial aircraft. Well, the guy who was in charge of watching the helicopters left work early.
Okay.
And so and because they used two different frequencies to monitor the air traffic.
Absolutely.
And so here's one guy who is tasked with monitoring both sides of things. He's got his hands full, to begin with. And right now we don't know exactly what happened. I've seen preliminary reports of what flight the helicopter was taking, the path it was taking, the height it was flying, the speed it was flying. I've seen all kinds of stuff like that, but we can't say anything with any certainty until they come out with the report. What I do know is it's rather interesting that 41 years ago, when Ronald Reagan fired thousands of air traffic controllers, it wasn't long before there was a DC-9, DC-10, I can't remember exactly what it was, that ended up in the Potomac River.
Mm-hmm.
And then here we have Mr. Trump come in and do all the things that he's doing, and we have another airplane end up in the Potomac River. Coincidence? Probably. I'm not one to buy into conspiracy theories, but I got to tell you, it makes me wonder what it is with Republican presidents and air traffic controllers and air disasters that go hand in hand. I mean, something's not right somewhere.
The airspace around DC is very congested. And that, from what I read, that having one controller at that time was well within FAA guidelines. Yes, they had their hands full, but it was well within, because of the traffic coming into the area, which was later at night, that it was okay for that to happen. Now, again, do they need to take a look at those guidelines? Absolutely. But that's a tough job. And that the whole idea of a president getting up during a news conference and saying all of that BS to the American people is just absolutely insane.
Well, he needs to take a class on just being empathetic to begin with, because he started out his remarks by, wanting to comfort and console the families of those who were on the plane, and he had barely gotten those words out of his mouth before he pivoted 180 degrees and started talking stuff. Okay. Well, not cool. I mean, not cool at all.
If that wasn't enough, a trans National Guard pilot was falsely accused of flying the helicopter in the fatal plane collision. A trans member of the National Guard is speaking out after a wave of claims on social media, falsely pointing to her as the pilot of the Black Hawk helicopter that collided with a passenger jet in Washington.
She wasn't even there.
What now?
She wasn't even there.
Joe Ellis, J.O., who is a UH-60 Black Hawk helicopter pilot. Now, first of all, once again, the military does not let unqualified people fly those darn things. Okay? You have to have a lot of experience to be able to fly one of those whirlybirds. So anyhow, she's a pilot for the Virginia Army National Guard. She posted on Facebook Friday to dispel the rumors that had echoed President Donald Trump's unsubstantiated blaming of diversity initiatives for the fatal accident. Yes, she wasn't even there. And that she gets blamed for something that she didn't do. And also because she's transgender.
Mhm. I live about 15, maybe 18 miles south of Fort Campbell, Kentucky. Most of Fort Campbell is actually in Tennessee, but the official address is Kentucky. It is the second largest military base in the country. They are. It is an aerial. It is an aerial base. These are the Screaming Eagles that we're talking about here.
Yes,
They are first. They are the first responders when it comes to combat. They fly over this house regularly. And there have been times when they have flown so low that I could probably reach out and shake hands with the pilot.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, the windows rattle.
Mm-hmm.
So, yeah, you're right. They don't let just anybody fly those things. They don't even let just anybody ride in them until they have been thoroughly and properly trained.
Absolutely.
So for anybody to say that there was somebody behind the controls of that craft that was not qualified to be there, they're talking out their ass. I'm sorry.
Yeah. Let's take a short break, and then we'll be back with your suggested story of the week. Yes, I actually let Jeff Ratcliffe pick a story out. So we have a good story for you.
It's a darn good one.
After the break. Yes, so this is a Friday evening fireside chat here on your New Thought Media Network. And just to let you know that I am currently parking myself at Summit Center for Spiritual Living in Akron, Ohio. If you would like more information, please go to summitcsl.org. There you will find our Zoom address and also our secret password that you need to get into the Zoom room, but it's on the website. Please join us this Sunday for our 25th anniversary with our special guest speaker, the Reverend Jeff Ratcliffe, who I don't know what he's talking about yet, but it's going to be good. So go now to summitcsl.org for more information about that. And join us on Sunday. It's going to be a very special occasion. All right. It is time for a break, and then we'll be right back. This is the Friday evening fireside chat here on your New Thought Media Network.
What if the person you think you are is just a fraction of who you truly are? What if years of conditioning and surviving in a challenging world have left you clinging to strategies and beliefs that mask your truest nature? I'm Catherine Duca, psychotherapist and self-esteem coach, and you're listening to Who Do You Think You Are? A show that looks beneath our psychological masks and uncovers our profoundly messy, beautiful, brilliant, tender-hearted essence. Join me as we go in search of the hidden power of our true selves. I'm so glad you're here.
The views and opinions expressed by Pastor Michael Mangus are generally right. However, they are his own and do not reflect the views and opinions of New Thought Media Network, Centers for Spiritual Living, or any other person living or dead. As they say in the 12-Step Recovery Program, take what you like and leave the rest. Here again is Pastor Michael.
Now, I produce Catherine's program on Sunday evenings at 9 Eastern here on your New Thought Media Network. I wonder why Reverend Robert Brzezinski always puts me with the psychotherapists.
Don't tempt me. Get thee behind me, Satan. Don't tempt me to touch that one.
Robert, if you're watching, now that's Okay, so now after this program at 9:30 Eastern, it will be Ask Robert Anything. So it's a brand new program here on New Thought Media Network. So you can ask Robert why Michael is producing programs with psychotherapists.
I'm just going to type in one little comment. I'm going to WTF, dude, and then let him take it from there.
Okay, real good.
Oh,
all right, so let's get to our feature story of the week. What now?
Before you do that little disclaimer that you say before we go off into the break, how you park yourself at Summit CSL.
Right.
I thank you for moving your big butt out of the way and let me take over and park myself there on Sunday morning. It's
good.
Be
you mean that's right. I have to move out of the minister's parking spot. I have to move down to the other end of the parking area so that your big Cadillac can come in to that space.
Exactly. And I've got my entourage going to be with me. So, we need some room. Yeah.
Oh, okay.
But here's the thing. What were you doing last night? What'd you do last night? Because there was a big concert going on last night.
Well, yes, there was. Yeah, there was
a couple of them.
Yes, there was, and we are getting to that here. First of all, let's talk about this is your Los Angeles fire update.
Yeah,
thousands of residents across Los Angeles County continue picking up the pieces, and they're starting the rebuilding process after they're losing their homes to the Eaton and also the Palisades fire. Cleanup efforts are also taking place across Los Angeles County. The good news is that on Thursday evening, the Hughes fire that erupted on January 22nd, it's fully contained. The Palisades fire was 98% contained, while the Eaton fire remains 99% contained, which is really excellent.
It is.
News.
Yeah. And the recent weather, I haven't checked the weather out there lately, but I know that they had some rain and even some snow moving into the area, which is good because that's going to help with the fires, but which is bad because now that there's no vegetation to hold the hillsides, and that place every year, they have mudslides.
Right.
So, they're going from the frying pan, so to speak, into something entirely different and possibly just as devastating.
So I'd like to give the address for the North Hollywood Church of Religious Science.org /give. I've been in contact with their associate minister, Reverend Skip Jennings, and they are working their tushies off, helping fire survivors. And so if you could please give a special financial gift there to nhcrs.org/give. In the comments, please put fire relief. They would really appreciate it. Their staff has been working almost around the clock to help out individuals in that area. So that is the nhcrs.org/give. Well, another thing that happened last night was that, you're right, there was a concert.
Well, a couple of them, actually.
A couple of them, and I don't know if I have the slide for it. Okay, hold on here. We'll see.
God, this was like
of course I have the slide for it.
You know what I found was interesting, and it didn't occur to me while I was watching it, is only afterward. They had so many people that signed up to participate in this concert that they needed 2 venues.
Right.
Interestingly enough, the more classic acts were all in one venue, and the more and the newer, more recent, up and coming people, the folks that have been more recent
Right.
in their fame, were at the other. And I didn't realize that when I was watching, and that was pretty cool. That
Well,
in and of itself.
Nirvana reunited. A miracle happened at Fire Aid as the music's biggest acts raise money for the LA wildfire relief. Pop stars, first responders, rock stars, and those who've lost everything in the devastating LA area wildfires came together for Fire Aid, which was a massive benefit concert on Thursday evening that combined spectacular performances with moving storytelling from survivors and reminders of the destruction. Stars included Pink, Katy Perry, Nirvana, and Dr. Dre performing at Fire Aid, and more than 20 artists from various genres took the stage for the 5-hour show, which
Billie
happens.
Eilish was there. Billie Eilish teamed up with Green Day. I mean, first of all, I love Green Day, believe it or not. And I really enjoy listening to Billie Eilish, and to see them on the stage together performing, that was awesome for me.
And it happened, like Jeff said, at 2 large venues in the city and raising money for wildfire relief efforts. The current total is over $60 million so far. Now, I saw a comment on Facebook from a certain Facebook friend by the name of Jeff Radcliffe. Do you know him?
I've heard of him. He's a rebel rouser.
Yeah, anyhow, okay. This was his comment about Fire Aid last night. And he wrote, so there was this big concert last night. It was simulcast on all the major premium channels. They were raising money for the wildfires in California. So what is the social media filled with today? Comments disparaging the musicians/singers because all that they did was sing. Comments like, well, they have more money than we do. Why don't they donate instead of asking us poor people? They can afford it. We can't. These are Mr. Radcliffe's comments. He says, what the actual freaking hell?
That's a great term. I wish I'd have thought of that.
Did I do enough emphasis on that?
Pretty much.
Okay. All right. Okay. Yeah. I will continue on. It says, since when did benefit concerts turn into such hatred for those who are helping and offering others a chance to join in helping? Reading some of those comments had me wondering just how much, if anything, the commenters donated to the cause. Probably zero. My gut instinct tells me that zero is a probable amount. If people can afford to give, they give. If they can't afford,
they don't. Yeah.
They don't. Just asking someone to donate doesn't obligate them because everybody is allowed to refuse. As for the celebrities donating, quite a few of them have. Yes, they have. Not all of them publicize it, though. We've always had people crying poor mouth and wallowing in their victimhood, but we've stepped over that line into a very weird place. People's thought processes have obviously changed since USA for Africa, or from when Jerry Lewis was doing telethons for muscular dystrophy. While we continue our spiritual journey on an upward spiral, in some ways, it appears that a lot of folks have decided to take a downward side road into regression and de-evolution. Wow. Just wow. The words of one of my Facebook friends, Jeff Radcliffe.
Very wise guy, that Jeff. You should have him on the show.
your comments about that. So
Yeah,
individual
those are my comments, all right.
Individuals were saying that listen, for these people to appear on this kind of show, first of all, is that they get well into 2 to 3 six figures to even show up for anything.
Mhm.
All right. So they're donating of time to this,
Yeah.
even for a nominal amount. Again, is helping raise money, raise awareness. And again, you don't have to give. You can just
And I'm
enjoy
sure
the
a lot of
show.
those, and I'm sure a lot of them took that honorarium or whatever you want to call it and donated it back in order to help. So they were working for free.
Oh, absolutely. Or they were working for scale.
Yeah, which
So,
is the bare minimum.
right.
So, so and that's what got me is the people that tend to and you see it no matter what. Whenever anybody who's got any amount of money is in the news and something bad happens, well, why can't he give his money to this? Why can't, and I'm thinking to myself, do you not realize that by disparaging people who are of means, you are limiting your ability to rise to their level? Are you aware that what you're doing is affirming to the universe that you don't have enough and you don't like that they've got more than you do? And that's going to keep you in that spot. That's the way this energetic spiritual universe of ours works. It works with aligning with the energy that we give it to work with.
Yes.
And so these people who are bad mouthing and talking negative are the ones who, if they're lucky to go on a vacation every couple of years, they do that. And other than that, they don't have a pot to go in or a window to throw it out of, as my grandmother would say.
These artists gave of their time, their love, their energy to put this show on. And that again, that they did it for free.
Yeah.
So, and many of them have given large amounts of money to help with the fire effort. So this was another way of them, again, contributing to that. So why give these people a hard time about performing? I mean, they're providing a service here, and they are also raising money. So to help out an area that really needs it. So
the Eagles kicked this off with a couple $1 million right off the bat because they couldn't be there, but they wanted to help, and a lot of these donations, they're during certain time periods, they were being matched by other rich people. So that $25 that you might have given would have been matched by $25 from this fund that Mr. Rich Guy over here threw into the pot just for that purpose. So, so for anybody to disparage these artists for being there and not doing enough, well, honey, they did more than enough. They did plenty. Did you see who was there? Did you see who was there? We had people coming out who, some of them you don't see much anymore. Stephen Stills and Graham Nash teamed up again after years. They might still be out running around, performing once in a while, but they got together for this. It was super cool. Rod Stewart dragged himself out there
and did his hot stuff, huh?
I'm telling you, man, it was awesome. I
heard Flea put on one heck of a performance with the Red Hot Chili Peppers.
Yes, and did you see Stevie Nicks performed before the Red Hot Chili Peppers? And I was kind of disappointed because there have been a couple of sources that said that she was going to come out with a new song written specifically for this, but then she turned around and did she did 3 of her standby tunes, which was great. But then afterwards, when it was time, she introduced the Red Hot Chili Peppers, and I thought that was like super cool.
We have a comment from the higher-ups at the New Thought Media Network. WTF, why the frustration? We don't know. We don't know.
Yeah.
Yes. And no, Diana Mangus, who is the spiritual leader of Summit CSL, Rod Stewart is he's 79, isn't he?
He's almost 80.
He's almost 80, yeah.
Stevie Nicks is almost 80. Stills and Nash are right up there. Joni Mitchell was there, and I think she's over 80. And to see her perform, and Both Sides Now is my favorite Joni Mitchell song, and she did that.
We have one more story here that's a carryover from last week.
Oh, yeah.
Coral Ridge Presbyterian pastor says that Buddy's mean sermon sowed division and was painful to listen to. The bishop's sermon showed mainline's decay, says Pastor Rob Pacienza. I think that's how you pronounce his name. But a Presbyterian pastor who attended the inaugural prayer service at the Washington National Cathedral last week claims that Episcopal Bishop Marian Buddy's sermon sowed division that she was preaching against. Rob Pacienda, who serves as the senior pastor of the Coral Ridge Presbyterian Church, which is really, really conservative in Fort Lauderdale, Florida, further suggested during a recent interview with the Christian Post that Buddy's worldview is symptomatic of the decay within the mainline Protestant denominations, that it is increasingly rendering its churches Is that irrelevant? Yeah, irrelevant. There you go.
Irrelevant, yeah.
Okay.
Well, I'll tell you, this Pastor Ruffianza, or whatever his name is, he's no D. James Kennedy. And D. James Kennedy headed up Coral Ridge Presbyterian Church for like almost 50 years. It was like 48 years. And yeah, he was conservative, but he was compassionate. And he was caring. I don't perceive that out of this guy.
Yeah, well, again, he said that this really wasn't a sermon, he said. It was a lecture that really came across as mean and diversive. What are you talking about? What are you talking about, Pastor? What are you talking about? I've gone over that message several times. She was kind. She was compassionate. She did not blame 47, but asked for mercy. Now, again, he goes on to say that what she said was not biblical.
I didn't hear her call anybody a den of vipers. Jesus did that.
Right.
She didn't do anything like that. You know?
Pacienza said, acknowledged that clergy are at times to rebuke civil authorities, but noted that there is a time and place for it. So what am I supposed to do, Pastor? Am I supposed to like get on this person's calendar and then, pick a time? She had the perfect opportunity to go ahead and to share a Christian message that was biblically based. And then you go ahead and say, well, because you're a Trump supporter, you go ahead and say, well, that wasn't right. And again, now he says this, Pacienza says, there are certain examples in scripture, Moses petitioning Pharaoh, Daniel petitioning Nebuchadnezzar, but it was always for the sake of unity, using biblical truths, using the faithful word of God in order to bring about unity, to bring about correction.
Well, you know,
I see. I don't understand this viewpoint. I thought that she did a wonderful job. I think that she did her job as a bishop. She went ahead and she said, again, speaking in love, truth to power.
This woman is the Bishop of Washington. The National Cathedral is her church.
Yes.
Okay. There wasn't the time or the place. When that woman is in the pulpit, it's the time. Where she was in the pulpit, that's the place. It was the perfect freaking time and place. And like you said, she spoke truth to power. She spoke it with love. It was completely and totally biblical. You can't please those people. And I'm sorry, I don't like to use that term, those people, because it carries such negative connotations.
Yes. Yeah, it's just yeah.
Our job is to see what he's saying and to look at him and to say, okay, you know what? God, spirit, whatever you want to call it, is within each and every one of us. And each and every one of us get to express our divinity however we want.
Right.
And we may not like how he's expressing his divinity and thereby his opinions on things, and and we can say the same thing for Donald Trump and Vladimir Putin and Xi Jinping or whatever, but they are still divine essences of the one creative power. We cannot lose sight of that. We may disagree with them in their physical, but when we look past that, and as metaphysicians, that's what we do. We look past the physical, obvious things, what's going on behind it. And when we do that, we can see them for who they are, which is still a light of divinity.
And guess
what?
what?
They're choosing to hide it. So it's up to us to take the high road. Like Michelle Obama said, when they go low, we go high. It's hard. It is probably the hardest lesson I have ever tried to learn. God knows I haven't gotten there yet, but I'm working on it.
And guess what?
We need to do that. And we're
out of time. But if people want to see you this Sunday, you're on tour.
I am on tour.
You're on tour at summitcsl.org. If you go there, you'll get the Zoom link. Come and hear Jeff speak for our 25th anniversary, and it's going to be good.
If you wondered why you landed in 2025 with 45, 47 in the White House and all the crap that's going on with that, I'm going to tell you why.
Come Sunday. It's going to be a great service. If again, summitcsl.org, if you just go there, you'll get all the Zoom information, including the top secret password, and then you'll be able to come in and see us then. All right, Jeff, we'll see.
It's actually in the top secret bunker, so you may not know where it is, but at least you'll get in.
It's at the residence, not in the top secret bunker.
Oh, don't pull that. You know that the bunker's in the basement.
It's two separate places.
Hit the bunkers in the basement. Stop lying to people.
All right, Jeff. Thank you very much. Great conversation.
Thanks for having me.
We will see you on Sunday. And folks, we're out of time here. And again, thank you so very much. Coming up here in about a half an hour at 9:30, you'll be able to ask Reverend Dr. Robert anything. Anything. So make sure that you do that. That'll be in 1/2 hour here on Positively Inspiring New Thought Media Network. Also, I will see you tonight also at 10:15 Eastern Time for evening prayer. All right. All right. Thank you so very much. Time to go. We will see you next week and also sometime during prayer times and also the other programs that I produce here on the New Thought Media Network. Check out our full schedule. ntmedia.org will give you more information. Also go on our YouTube page. We have playlists of all of our shows. We have over 40 hours a week of positive programming just for you. All right. On behalf of all of us here at New Thought Media Network, I'm Reverend Michael Mangus. I'm going to wish you a very pleasant good night and a great week.
Thanks for joining us this evening for Friday's Fireside Chat with Pastor Michael Mangus. Join us again next week at 8 Eastern, 6 Mountain for more spiritual conversations for today. For more information and replays of past shows, please visit the New Thought Radio and Media Network's Facebook page. Until next week, may God bless you richly and abundantly.